Pun intended.
Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome to Christina Speaks. I am here with some of my favorite people. We are the mighty, small but mighty team that puts on the Warren Morrow Latin Music Festival. This year it's going to be July 20th at Breton Plaza in downtown Des Moines. It begins at 4 and we're partying until midnight. So bring your energy, bring your little chairs, bring your abuelita and the little ones because it's a good time for everyone. All day we'll be there with some great music, and we're just here to talk a little bit about why we love it and why we do it every year. So
Yeah.
I want to start with Amner because Amner actually is the brains behind it. It was his idea. He first approached me I don't know, in my brain, because it's all foggy, it was like 2 days after the funeral. But I'm sure it was maybe more time than that. But it was very soon after the funeral that you said, hey, can I talk to you about this idea I have?
Yeah, it was. It feels like 4 weeks after that or something. It was pretty close.
Yeah.
And I was having dinner with Laura, and I just remember having this um, just urge of I feel like I feel like something needs to be done. Like what if we can do this? And I started kind of telling her about it, and she's just like, do it. Just I'm like, I don't know, Christina. I shook her hand, when Warren introduced us, but that was the extent of our and yeah, I just reached out to you on Facebook, and we went to lunch at Americana, and I said, I guess, the right things, and you were like, yeah, let's do it. I usually find myself trying to talk people into doing things. But this is it was easy because it felt good, from the very beginning. So, yeah, and then I guess to make it short, the rest is history. Yeah. We got to brainstorming on who should we bring on board and stuff like that. So ever since then, it's just been a roller coaster of fun and highs and lows. It's funny because the second year, I was in jail. Remember, a big chunk of the time, and somehow I came out of jail, and and it was already going. So the second year, I don't know how much I actually did. I don't remember because it was big immigration thing that happened. I wasn't a criminal or anything.
Please clarify.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you to clarify.
Immigration. My lawyer didn't tell me about a calendar hearing. A basic, you jump on the phone with the lawyer and the judge and hey, Amner's here. And ICE went to pick me up at work.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was like, and they have come, I've seen them before, they're like, we're looking for George or whatever, and I'm like, if he wasn't there, he wasn't there, but yeah, they came and picked me up, and then I was in jail. But then that second year, I didn't do much, and then the third, we've been closing bars too, by the way, another one. So people's, we did it the first year at People's,
yeah.
and they closed after that.
Oh my god.
And then we did it at the House of Bricks, and then they closed
Oh,
after
no
that.
way! I did.
Yeah.
But Woolies is going strong. And
Woolies
we
is
strong.
They're twice.
It wasn't nice, but
The social club's still there too.
the social club's still there too. So yeah, it's been among the team we have this it's a roller coaster because it's never it's never an easy ride. It's always, and that's what makes it fun.
Yes, it was very boring, and if it was the same easy road, no?
And it has to be pretty fun for you, in the sense that it was your idea. So to see it all the way to what's...
It's kind of bizarre. There's a little bit of bizarreness because you're I remember that it was in my head,
Yeah.
and then to see it a reality, but it's more fulfilling. The whole mission behind it is more fulfilling, the message, and I mean, we build friendships, family around it, so that's why I think it's more special for me.
Yeah.
What about you? You were there at the same lunch?
Yes, I was. I honestly don't remember anything that was said, but don't take it personally. I don't remember the 2 years after he died, but I do remember that the reason I said yes wasn't the same as yours. Like, I could tell that you had this like earnest need to do something, to take action, to keep his legacy alive. And I hate to say this, as his widow, that was not on my mind. I was thinking, oh, this will keep me busy and I won't have to think about it being his birthday. Cool, let's do this. And I don't know if you had it in mind that it would happen every year, but I certainly didn't. I just thought it'd be that one year. I'm like, okay, well, the first year will be the hardest, so great, this will keep me distracted. And shortly thereafter, a couple of my friends were like, so where are you going to do it next year? And I was like, next year? I don't know.
You want
I
to be
didn't
part of
think
the board?
about it.
Volunteer?
Yeah, but then I don't know who got it going again. Like, yeah, let's do it again. Because back then there were other people involved, and I don't even remember. But again, I thought to myself, okay, well, you know what? He's going to continue to have birthdays that are going to be difficult for me, so I'll continue to say yes and keep busy. And now, I mean, this is our 8th one. Honestly, it doesn't really feel like it's around his birthday anymore, because I have come to have a different ritual for his birthday, but it still amazes me that we're even saying his name, you know, this many years after he passed away, that you guys, I mean, you knew him and maybe you met him.
I never met him.
No?
Well,
So,
I
like,
kind of,
most
I
people
kind of like saw you
once.
dancing salsa with him once. That's how far I got.
So, like, that amazes me, because then you didn't meet him, did you?
No.
That we're here doing this and someone's, you know, name that you haven't met, you guys barely knew him, you know, so, I mean, you and I probably knew him the best, and, but it still feels like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I always, like, kick myself, because I think, man, if he was down here, oh my God, would he be loving this? But then again, if he was here, he wouldn't be doing it. So.
Yeah. Maybe we would be, because I've heard that there was, like, he was already kind of thinking about, you know, like a festival kind of thing.
We definitely wanted to bring more live music. He actually, I found his notes after he passed away. He wanted to start an app that told you where there was live Spanish music, because he would always scour the internet whenever he had to travel for work, which was pretty often, and he would look for live music wherever he was traveling. And whenever I would travel with him, we would both go, and it'd be like these divey bars, you know, but that's where we met Santa Cecilia, which came and performed, and in 2016 was it? We listened to quite a few bands that then later I heard their name, and I'm like, oh, I think I saw them like in a basement bar in San Jose.
You kept running into like awesome bands. Like,
like Grammy Award.
Yeah.
So he might have gotten involved with something for music for sure, because it was definitely something that he loved. I mean, his laptop was filled with music, his phone was filled with music, all types of music, Spanish music, English music. When we went to South Africa, he found some band over there that he liked, didn't understand the lyrics, but loved the beats. So yeah, we probably would be.
Yeah. And it's turning out, I mean, I don't know, what's, like, from your point of view, I guess let me jump in this, from your point, because I guess, you know, you heard how it was from my point of view, but, I don't know, what is it like for you, where you come from?
How do you fit into all of here?
Yeah.
This area.
Yeah.
It is weird. It is interesting, because I remember having to, like, look up who he was and like what it was about, and sort of like you have your own perspective, and I think like people coming into it now, it's an interesting time in the world, and so people come into it with different passions and perspectives, and I mean, still I think it sounds like for the same reasons that he would want people to be doing these things. I think that he would want his name attached to people just being inclusive and understanding, and it's one thing, like I think food is one thing, like and I love the food festivals, and I think that's great, and like, you know, but I don't think that creates the same unity that music does. And you know, I remember Goizani telling me about this very vividly, like she was sort of looking for something to sort of like expand, and like in one aspect I was like, well, you know, we don't work together anymore, and I like loved working with Goizani, I loved the way her brain works. But I also remember her describing you guys, like, so, like these artistic and kind and friendly people. Like, I remember, like, the first time I ever met you being like, these are the coolest humans. I'm so uncomfortable, like, I'm sweating, I know everything about them, and, like, because it is, like, it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
And it's weird because when you're in it, you're like, this is messy and I want to do it in a different way. Like the way that I'm even doing it. I'm like, I just want more time to dedicate to it, like to give it what it deserves.
Yeah.
But it's weird. I mean, I think I've learned a lot about him and his legacy, and like I love the story of the origin, and like I see it fully after meeting you. You were like, I'm gonna do this thing, and Laura was like, yep, you are. Like, let's do it.
It was like right now when Christina said that, I don't know if he saw it like after 1 year. By the third year, he already saw a festival. Like he was already talking about it. He already knew what streets he wanted to close. You know, I think we were in the East Village.
Yeah.
Before the East Village started like blooming. I was like, oh, we'll close this one and we'll close this one. We're in a data, and I'm like, it's gonna happen. And then 3 years later, there was Watermelon Latin Music Fest at the Social Club. And I'm like, of course.
I appreciate how because to get somebody to join takes a lot of passion to pitch something, you know. I mean, I know that firsthand. You know, we know that firsthand. But I just realized that you were the one that and I think that part of this event, this whole thing is how passionate one can get about something, right? Mm-hmm. So, tell us about you.
What do you want me to tell you? Well, just about like how.
No, so you approach, you know, her.
Yeah, so like Michaela said, we worked together before, and I knew the capabilities that she has. I have always been very impressed with her talents and why not, and I just knew that she would be a good fit, and we also kind of needed help in that area, right? Like she kind of mans and does everything that has to do with volunteers and logistics and how we go about that, and she just has so much knowledge on it that I thought that it would be, you know, she would be a great addition. And not only that, but she does events all the time. We have worked events together. I know how her brain works too, and she's really good at a lot of different things about events. So I just thought that she would be a good addition. And, you know, like she said, I think she probably did see, you know, my passion for it. I have always been super excited about it and trying and wanting to make it the best it can be. For me, music has just always been such a huge thing. It has always been in my life in some shape or form, and like, you know, we have mentioned in the past, I do think it unites people and I think that it opens our minds, and I feel like there is nothing better than to see people having fun, and especially when there's a crowd of them and see people dancing. Like that stuff makes me excited, and that's when I know I'm in the right place, because that has been something that has made me tingle since I was little, and watching, you know, events or concerts or performances like that I'm like, I love the idea of putting a big group of people together and then having a minute, you know, a few minutes, a few hours of pure enjoyment, and that they get lost in that and forget about everything else and see the other people right next to them dancing and enjoying it. And then just like the cultural part of it too, right? Like Iowa needs to grow in that sense. Des Moines needs the diversity. And like we mentioned, you know, in other conversations too, I grew up, you know, in our countries, like we listen to music from everywhere, different languages and stuff, and I feel like it just opens your mind so much more to the world that I love the idea of bringing that to Des Moines. And I want people to listen to music that they don't understand and just have fun and enjoy it and listen to the music, and don't worry about the steps and this and that. Just let the music take you, you know? And so like that for me is definitely a passion, and I think I just probably was just like, and then
losing that passion. Kayla was like, I want some.
Yeah.
And some of it.
Well, one of the things that makes me remember is when the conga line started. Was that Quita Pena?
Yeah.
And I just remember kind of peeking over and thinking, oh my God, that is so cool. I've never seen that. Like right in front of the stage. Yeah. Everybody was involved. I mean, it was like the most diverse conga line, and it was just going. People were having so much fun.
It's on Instagram too, so if people want to see it.
That was an amazing
It's on Instagram
moment,
and on our Facebook page too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lauda, I
It
know
is
that you
really
guys get your twins involved, and they're little. They're what, 8 now?
They're 8. Yeah.
So how is it for you as a mom? You're so involved with this festival, and it takes time away from them, you know, but yet they seem to love it. They seem to be just as excited and passionate. So what's it like parenting those little humans that are on board with you guys for this?
I think it was. I mean, I know they know that it's such like a passion project for us, and they feel it too the same way. And also, they were when I started this, they were 2 years old, so they don't know.
They don't know life without.
They don't know life without the word Morrow.
that is true.
They have no idea. Most of their lives revolves around that. You know, not only like parenting wise, and if we can do this or we cannot do this, but they ask questions. They know who Warren was. They're very into that. They love knowing who we're bringing. They love to listen to the music that we're, listening to before we make a decision. They go as far as they say, like, oh yeah, we're bringing salsa piña.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We are bringing. They will go to school and they're like, yeah, like so. This is what we do, and then it's at the Brenton Skating Plaza. It's July 20th. Luca takes flyers at school, like the last few weeks of school, and they're like, "Yeah, we're bringing salsa piña this year." And they're like, "Oh yeah, you are. You are. Yeah,
in one way or the other.
Yeah, I think like from a motherhood point of view, there's nothing else I much rather be doing in parenting and letting them grow up in this like diverse group and this diverse like music scene and festival. Like this is exactly what I always wanted to create, or we wanted to create, and they're living it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do live it too. I think that inspires them. Like they're the kind of kids that they're like, we're gonna do this to help this problem. Like they just see things and then they do things.
Yeah, I wonder how our kids, because you have kids, you have Ariana and Bella. Have been best friends since
Second grade.
Yeah, second grade.
Yeah,
so,
second grade.
And they're gonna be sophomores this year.
Yeah.
So Bella and the twins, and they're growing up in this environment that I don't think that only good can come out of this. Like them being in this world of like music and organizing and just living in this beautiful world of people just kind of wanting to do
Coming
good
together.
do good through music and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty hopeful for it.
When like she said, it's like how amazing. I mean, what a cool example, of knowing and seeing your parents, doing something like that. I think it's just only gives you enough courage and motivation for them to jump in and do that when time comes for them.
They actually did so they have a YouTube channel, right, Luca and Azul. And they did like a 2-minute video, and I still haven't posted it because the laptop or the tablet got broken. But it's like a 2-3 minute video where they're inviting people to come. And there's no way you can't cry if you watch it. It's pretty. Yeah, just like a 2-3 minute video that they did. I'm sure you guys will see it at some point, but we've been so busy, and then the tablet kind of broke. Or Bella
You
broke.
haven't fixed it.
And I haven't.
You haven't solved the problem.
I know. I haven't solved that.
Festival's a few days away, so
I know.
You will not solve the problem.
I know.
Everyone's like, when are we gonna see you?
after
We're like, after
July
Saturday.
20th?
Yeah,
Let's make all the plans.
everything. I keep telling people, I'm like, next week.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, it's almost like you can't think of anything until after that.
Cool, because also we used to start a lot later, meeting a lot later, putting the dates out later, and this year we started.
When did we go?
September.
Well, we
October.
announced March 1st. We announced.
We started
We
working on
announced
it.
headliner. We already had posted the date
Yeah.
of the event. I believe in February. So I think we did our first like few posts in
So
February.
our first meeting was like 2018.
Meetings was like
Oh,
2018 September.
We started
September.
pretty much.
I think we maybe took 2
We
months
took like
off.
2 months off, and then we were like, okay, let's do this.
it.
We're gonna bring this, so we gotta get on it. And
But doesn't it feel better right now too?
Oh yeah, it's
Completely
different.
It feels pretty different than the
Yeah.
last couple of years.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it does. I was actually gonna say that I wanted to thank you guys, because if it wasn't for everybody hustling and moving and getting those dates moved up, then we would be in a very different place. And this is probably the first time, and this is our 8th year, that I'm not like feeling like a wreck, like, oh my gosh, this and that and da-da-da. Like, I'm just like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna come together. We are on top of it.
Yeah.
We've gotten so much great just attention online and from different media sources that have never paid attention to us
Yeah.
The
before.
register.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
I feel like, wow,
Yeah.
people are recognizing our work. It's like we're growing up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it definitely feels like that.
Well, I'm excited about the headliner. I mean, everybody really.
Everybody.
Last night we went to see Ciudad de Monjes, that local rock band, Spanish pop, that like my best friend, my brother, and another good friend of mine is in it. So it's like a little family group that they formed, but they actually did pretty good. So
They're
they
really
gonna
good.
play at 4. And then who plays after them?
After that, we do Athena's
Rosette?
class.
Okay.
Oh,
Dance
that's
class.
class. Okay.
And then after that, it will be Parranderos.
Paranderos, okay.
After that, it will be.
Dolly's?
I
Is it
think it's
Rosendo?
Mana.
Rosendo?
No, I think it's Mana. I
Okay.
think then it's Rosendo.
I haven't.
Dolly's Quartet,
Yeah,
Dos Santos, and then
Celso.
Celso.
nice. Yeah.
Hopefully, I get it right. And we have a DJ.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
we have
that
a
will
DJ.
be.
Yeah, we'll have a
Playing
house
in
DJ. I was reading a little bit of a article or part of it, or a review for Dos Santos. And I mean, whoever wrote it was pretty elegant about it, but they're like, they are the link between Jimi Hendrix and this other band, and and so they have so many sounds, like electronica, jazz, Afro music, cumbia. So it's and then I've been following them on Instagram, and their music is pretty unique. I think people are gonna like. They're like the perfect band, I think, to wait for Celso's big party to come. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be a nice band too. And then that Mana band. I mean, who doesn't love?
Doesn't love to
Mana.
sing along to Mana.
Like,
eh?
everybody likes
I
to
just
listen.
like have this vision of like people with their arms over
Oh,
each
yeah,
other,
yeah.
Yeah.
just singing those songs in front of the stage.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking me about the
Rayando
lineup
el
today, and I didn't get the order right because I probably won't until like afterwards, but because I always get them all
Same here.
confused. But I was like, no, I know you don't speak Spanish, but you really should come for the Mana one too, because even if you don't know the words, I think that that what you're gonna feel in that space is gonna be pretty crazy, because they've been around for so long. I mean, I would say that they are like, I mean, maybe the most iconic band that.
They're like Aerosmith.
Oh, I think
Yes.
Yeah.
So I said you're gonna have
Totally.
people there who were first introduced to them as kids, and then people who grew up
Oh,
with
yeah.
them, and people who heard them because of their parents, and so all of those generations are gonna come together. And I think the same with Sipso. I've had like young people in their 20s go, "Oh my God, you're bringing Sipso," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Sipso is because he's in his 70s. Like
Yeah.
that's awesome that you
Yeah.
know." But it's
He's,
because their parents brought them.
brought
So
them.
I'm looking forward to the lineup, no doubt, because I think it's one of the best that we've ever done. But I am also really needing, I think at this point, that vibe that it's gonna bring of people just, like we all said, coming together and just no matter whether you understand the words, how old you are, like something's gonna touch them. And I'm just like, okay, in this time where we just need so much of that
And
positivity.
not that it's
connect.
not that it's needed. I mean, Celso's amazing. You know, the lineup is from the beginning to the end. It's gonna be awesome. And maybe this is one of like those sign things that you're like, things always kind of work out the way, because so we wanted Celso like three years ago or more. And then we chose the date. Actually, did we move the date?
We moved the date.
We moved the date to
bring him
make
back.
sure that
Yeah.
we could bring him,
Mhm.
and then it lands on like Colombian Independence Day,
Yeah.
which if you've never partied with Colombians,
They know how to party.
Yeah, Colombians can party
And then
to
too late.
levels that you
Yeah.
don't quite get yet until you literally party with them and you're like, oh, this is how Colombians
Until you
party.
try some
Yeah,
aguardiente
so
and then you know.
Pretty sure I'm seeing the sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty sure I have 4 of them staying at my
Yeah.
house. So I'm like,
Yeah.
probably.
So that's just like another cherry on top almost because, you know,
Party.
it's their, you know, obviously they're very patriotic and they love their country. So I think Colombians are going to come in the masses and just, because Celso plays, you know, cumbia, which is Colombian. So I think it's going to be.
Well, they're biased. Yeah, like they're patriotic vibes. You feel them when
Yeah,
you buy a
yeah,
Colombia,
yeah.
when it's like a soccer game or
Like,
whatever. You feel the
oh, yeah.
intensity of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It's very cool. It's very,
So-
very cool.
Well, and then, you know, we have Dolly's Quartet too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which
coming straight from Colombia.
they're
From
coming
Colombia.
from Colombia. So we
Mhm.
have actually 2 artists coming,
Yeah.
international,
Yeah.
you know, international.
Yeah.
And Dolly's, you know, they're great, like amazing musicians, and they'll be doing some, you know, Latin jazz. But then the idea is that they usually incorporate a lot of like folkloric rhythms from Colombia.
Okay.
So hopefully the Colombians feel
Yeah.
pretty home
Yeah,
with them
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And you know, Paranderos definitely does some
Yeah.
some Colombian salsa and cumbia and stuff like that too. So I think they'll have plenty to
Yeah.
dance to.
Yeah,
That's
it'll be so people. Yeah, I was telling a friend yesterday, like bring your lounging chair, come.
Yeah.
You know,
Please do.
you know, you get hungry, you go over there and you listen to a band or style of music that you're not, you know, so fond of, and then the next one comes on, and so, because it's gonna be from 4 to midnight, so.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your kids and
bring
then
your-
take them home.
And then
And
come
then
back.
come
Come
back.
back and party.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
lots
come
of
ready to
people do
party
that.
because I think this is, I mean, obviously this is our best one yet.
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, so,
Until next year, but yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, and that you bring up a good point though. There's going to be so much going on. So, I mean, the music is definitely the core of it. But then we also have the children's activity area that Laura has been working really hard on. Do you want to tell us about all that's going on there?
We have bouncy houses. We have 2 gigantic bouncy houses. We're excited about those. We have a mural. The 2 local artists are helping us put together for the kids area. It's kind of like, I guess, a surprise as to what they're gonna put in there, and then they're gonna help kids learn how to like paint their first mural, kind of a vibes.
That's awesome.
Hula hoops, chalk. Do we have Dream Seat doing a table to play loteria with them? I mean, all kinds of things. There's gonna be not a second that they can be bored. Make sure that you bring them their bottles of water,
It's gonna be hot.
lots of SPF, so they can give them a little break.
And we do have a
It'll be so
water
fun.
fountain.
We
so-
do have a water
Yeah, we
fountain,
have a
yeah.
water
There
filling
can be plenty
station,
of water,
so
water
everybody
filling
can bring
station.
their-
They can get a little wet in
Their
there.
water bottles, yeah.
Yep. Just make sure you bring
Yeah.
that stuff for them.
It is going to be very hot, so please, everyone who's coming, if you are sensitive to the sun, we've got a huge canopy you can stay under, but also bring, as Laura said, your SPF,
Yep,
bring your
always.
hats,
Your
bring
waters.
your water bottles, and stay hydrated. We will be selling beer, but you know, a little water is good too.
Yeah.
Beer, water.
Yeah, beer.
Drink water.
What about the VIP?
The VIP. I think because I just finalized the VIP situation this morning, I'm still kind of like, oh, I read it.
right before
Right
the
there.
finish line. Yeah.
I always kind of sort of have an idea what it wanted to look like, but this year it was kind of hard to get like an idea, and then I had an idea and I couldn't find the furniture or rent the furniture I wanted. So once I get there, I just put it together. The VIP is just a cool lounging area.
They
But
get
you
a,
do have a
So-
theme this year, right? From like the look has a theme this year.
Yeah, like if I really want to go with like a jungle and concrete kind of vibe, and
Because
that's
you have
what it is.
concrete already there.
Exactly. So might as well use it. Very cool for it. I mean, always like super cool vintage furniture. Lots of plants, lots and lots of plants. That's where Abner's and I house, we take everything from our house and we just go put it in the thing. But you get, what is it? You get
Free drink
one
ticket.
free drink ticket,
Merch
drink
dis-
discount,
Merch discounts.
And merch.
Koozie.
A koozie.
Yep. Merch, drink,
A
koozie,
roof.
cool space.
A roof, your own private,
Yeah.
like kind of space. It's just a very
your own
cool.
bar. Your own bar. We'll have
Your
a
own
bar
bar.
set up in
Yep.
the VIP area.
Yep.
And then we're also using the VIP area as like a quasi green room. That's where we're
Yes.
inviting our
So you
artists to
go-
spend time before and after their sets. So you might, find yourself sitting next to one of the,
One of the
artists.
artists.
You might have a little chat there with Cecil Pina before he goes on and get your little selfie on or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. It's just a very cool room to hang out in.
Yeah.
It's a cool
People,
space.
really what it
people
is.
like it.
Yep.
We can tell by the
That's what it
tickets.
And
That's
Michaela
what they-
mentioned food earlier about food
Oh.
bringing us together, and
Yeah.
Amner, you've worked with our food vendors, so
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what we can expect when we get hungry.
Well, I've got some help from all of you guys. So I'm just but yeah, so Puerto Rican food,
And Cokie.
el coqui, which he was describing. We had a meeting with the inspector yesterday, and he was describing his menu, and I was like getting hungry.
Yeah.
And then we have Salvadorian pupusas. We're actually helping them a lot to get it. They're nervous. We're like, you can do it.
It's their
Come on,
first
and that's
event.
another
It's
that's
their
another
first
cool
event.
aspect of this.
Yeah.
Like you get to. They're like, we always wanted to do it. I was like, well, do it then. You'll learn a lot. And we're walking them through the application, and they were like getting discouraged as the inspector is telling them
So much
all the
information.
guidelines, and they're like, I don't know, and they were like with their head down. I'm like, just think of it, and I kind of gave them a little
Pep talk.
spiel, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do it, and it's kind of cool to see that. So pupusas, there's 2 dope taco vendors. They literally do, like, one of them does taco al pastor, and then one of them does asada, and they like literally shook hands, and they're like, all right.
How cool is that? I
It
know.
was
I was
so
like, how
cool.
cool is that?
Yeah.
I wish I was there.
Yeah,
Because
it's
it
like,
also there's like
"I'll
2
make us
older
out."
Mexican
Yeah,
guys,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, I'd love to
Like-
They're
see
working
that.
on their menu, like,
Yeah.
I got the
Yeah.
pork, I do the
So I was
steak,
like,
we're all good.
sweet. And then
Michoacana.
Are they
Michoacana.
doing other items too?
I
or
think
just
so. These guys are like
Tortas.
taqueros.
Yeah.
So
Taqueros. So
they'll-
they're gonna do tacos is like their main thing. They might have like quesadillas.
I think Villa only makes tacos,
Yeah,
no?
they might have
I think
quesadillas
Sí,
or
no,
something
yeah.
like
The
that.
Quesadillas.
other one, I think, put other stuff.
Quesadillas,
Yeah.
maybe torta or something.
That's right.
algo
That's
por
right.
el
It was the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then
Michoacana.
La Michoacana is gonna do this. They're like an ice cream shop that they're gonna do a bunch of like Mexican goodies and ice cream and helados and elotes
Fruit
and all
in a
that stuff.
cup.
So
Fruit in a cup.
so
elotes.
yeah, and then we're gonna have delicious beer. So
They have
Uh,
the best beer list ever.
yeah, yeah, we have some
Right,
good
They
beers.
right.
have a pretty dope beer.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have Hannah.
Like
Yeah,
right now,
Sandra
that-
helped us pick that too.
He's
Right
drinking
now,
cider.
so yeah,
Beer
he's
sponsor
drinking
next
cider.
year.
Yeah.
Right now that Abner was mentioning the ladies from the pupusa ladies and getting, helping them get their business started, hopefully, or just inspire them, something that I tried to do, and I forgot to say on your podcast, that I try to only hire Latino-owned businesses for all our needs, like tables, chairs, tents, the bouncy houses, and I actually did it. I was able to do it just from like
Awesome.
the Facebook groups messages, and I thought it was important for us to give back to our community too in this other way and push their businesses. And except the rental furniture and the VIP, everything else is like Latino-owned businesses here in Des Moines. So I thought that was pretty
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah, it's a cool little thing to do.
And none of this would be possible without lots and lots of other hands that come together on that day. And we're lucky that Michaela has brought her kind of volunteer guruism to our group, because that was an area, as Christina mentioned, where we were struggling. We'd like get all these volunteers and go, okay, just do what needs to be done. And then that wasn't working, so.
That didn't work.
Can you read her
Yeah,
mind?
yeah.
So we're trying to manage all these volunteers while managing all the other parts of the festival that we did. And then Michaela came. She's like, I can take that piece. So can you tell us a little bit about what your strategy was for the volunteers and how it's different this year than it has been in the past?
Yeah, I think this year it's helpful that people know and are recognizing the festival. We have t-shirts, and for the reasons that I will never understand, people love a t-shirt in return for their time. But then I also think that people are sort of like getting on board, and they're starting to feel like the excitement of it. We posted it on every board you could possibly post as a volunteer opportunity. We talked about it in terms of, you know, like my biggest weirdest thing is that I'm always like, I'm not gonna whitewash anything, right? Like I'm so nervous. But I also, because I think that like sometimes you don't even realize what you're doing. Sure. But like on another angle, it has been nice to sort of like see people coming forward that they're like, I can't go to the border and make a difference, but I would love to come and help you today.
Yeah.
And I think that that's been really super inspiring. Like these last 2 weeks in particular, as I've been corresponding with these volunteers and like people at work that know that this is what I'm doing, and people stepping up, like there are reasons for why, like I've definitely cried, you know, like 100%, just people that are willing to spend hours in the heat and help us with like removing garbage, you know, like that's a literal dirty job. And just reaching out, making sure that people know, and then sort of like talking about the fact that if you believe in it, then you have to make it happen. Like volunteering is voting for what you want the world to look like, and this is a really great way to point out like how you want the world to exist. And so it's been really cool. We have a lot of people that I've never heard of. We have one volunteer that's going to be there from noon to midnight. She's spending 12 hours with us.
Wow.
That's
awesome. She wants to set up. She wants to be there all day.
Yeah, Makila already said she was going to buy her dinner, or him.
Her, yeah.
And then I was like, I'll find something. I'll find a present, a gift card, something. I'll
definitely. We've got to fill the love.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, people just jumping in and wanting to help in that way. And that's kind of the best part, is that it's validating, too. That there's, I think we're at like 35 people right now or something like that. And
nice.
35 people that decided that this is how they want to spend their Saturday. And it's not that expensive. It's not, it's a great deal to get in for free, but like, it's also nice to not have to pick up garbage.
Just enjoy yourself.
For sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that people are seeing this as a way to help, because it does, you know, there's so much going on now where it does, for me anyway, feel like there's nothing I can do to help make anything better. But you're right, like, you know, is this festival going to save the world? You know, of course not. But for that day, we're all going to come together, and there's going to be music, there's going to be smiles, there's going to be friendships made, there's going to be a celebration of all these different cultures. I mean, we've talked about the Colombian influence, but almost every Latino culture you can think of, there's going to be some kind of influence there, whether it's through the food or an instrument or a rhythm. And, you know, that is beautiful that people are saying, this is some way that I can help. I can have this one day of joy and showcasing these cultures that otherwise don't always feel so welcomed. And, you know, we don't, I mean, honestly, sometimes we don't even really feel safe.
I'm a huge believer in joy is an act of resistance. And this is how kind of Amner and I are trying to raise the kids in this tumultuous time. And I feel like that's why the festival is so important for us family-wise, because it gets to be like this time where we see other people connecting through so many, just connecting just by listening to music and eating all these foods all together. And it's pretty amazing.
I wanted to kind of touch a little bit on like, and then jump in, Goy, how, you know, the way that the festival is gonna look this year, is gonna sound, the stage, the you know, we intentionally decided to invest more on the sound and the lights and all that stuff. Do you want to talk a little bit about the marketing and like just kind of how the
Yeah, I mean, like we have been talking about, it is a nonprofit, and so, you know, we have been trying to slowly but surely grow the festival, make it better every year, and just with the budget that we have, it's kind of hard to do that like that, right? Like, so we slowly are building it. Thank you, you know, to the attendees from all the past years, to all of our sponsors and stuff. Our budget gets a little bit bigger every year, and that way we can kind of reinvest it in the festival and have a better experience for everybody that attends. So this year we really wanted to, you know, just kind of improve the stage and the lighting and the sound, and that kind of stuff, so we can have a, you know, I mean, it is a music festival, so we kind of felt that needed a little bit of some love, and
Yeah.
I think this year we'll definitely hear it
Yeah.
and see it.
Yeah.
So that will be pretty exciting. And it's a great experience for the musicians as well too, and they talk among each other. So then it'll be great because it just opens the door for us to for other artists as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, it's our goal, and it's always been the best quality talent, best quality venue, best quality sound, best quality, and we've done our best every year to get to that point. And I think that like this year it's starting to, I think this year it's gonna be as close as we've ever been. I think so.
Yeah, I think people will notice the difference.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
I
think so.
Oh yeah.
And especially with the lighting and things that kind of make the experience a little bit a little funner. So I think it'll be great.
Well, and something that I'm always surprised when people are surprised to hear this is that each and every one of us, we volunteer our time the entire year to do this. A very close friend of mine told me, "Oh yeah, my mom was asking me how much you make off of the festival every year," and I was like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Wait, how much do I make?"
Spiritually?
Yeah, and, yeah, spiritually, yeah, a lot. Yeah, spiritually, I'm paid richly.
We're rich.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, wow. I mean, we don't really advertise necessarily how it works, and most places don't. But for those who don't know, we are 100% volunteers. We don't get a penny of anything that is raised for the festival. So what happens is that we go out and we beg our sponsors and those who choose not to be sponsors to help us. And we are very fortunate that we have had some wonderful sponsors from the very first time when we were simply a memorial concert. Those like Des Moines Metro Credit Union, I mean, they have from day one, it's just like I send them an email and just say, hey, are you guys on board again? And they're always like, yeah, and they're wonderful to work with.
Yeah.
We've gotten some new ones this year that have not, been a part of it anymore. We've gotten, or that have not been before. And if you look around the screen, because I don't want to miss any of them, but you'll see all of our sponsors. They've all been incredibly generous. I definitely want to thank La Que Buena, because aside from being our presenting sponsor, they have put together these really cool ads on Spanish radio, and they're just getting started, and so it's nice that we can help them and they can help us by helping each other with some exposure. But this is 100%, it goes into the festival. The ticket sales, we take a percentage of that, and we vote as a group to give to a nonprofit. We have given over $10,000 back into the community to various groups, and really that, for me personally, that came about because if we're going to give back, we're going to give back, and a festival's great, but that's a one-time, one-day event, and we wanted to do more. And the way that I saw it was when Warren passed away, a philanthropist was gone, and there were agencies that he had worked really hard to raise money for, and they were losing a person who was advocating for them and wanting to fundraise for them. And so I didn't want that to just be gone with him. Death had taken enough, and I didn't want it to keep taking more. And so this year we're excited. We're partnering with a program that I think if Warren were around, he would be so involved with it. It's entrepreneurs. It's high school kids who are entrepreneurs. It's called Dream Seed, and it came out of a Latino mentorship program that Warren was a big fan of. And the kids are amazing. We've all met different kids, and one of the kids actually designed the winning design for our t-shirt this year. Talented group of kids. And so when this is all said and done and we pay all the bills, and there are many, many, many bills to be paid.
Get a bunch of invoices.
You'll be amazed what we can do with the amount that we can.
Oh yeah, we really, really scrape those pennies together. But in the end, we'll come together and we'll say, okay, we were really blessed this year that we made this much, and now how can we pay it forward? And we'll look and see, okay, how much is it to secure a headliner and our venue and a couple other things that we have to pay way in advance, and then the rest we're like, okay, let's move this forward. So if anybody's wondering how much I make or any of these people make, we're
we're paid spiritually,
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
Xander
it's
said,
spiritually and
but we
friend-
don't
with
make a penny
friendships.
off of
Yes.
this. This is 100% a labor of love, and I think that for me personally, that's why I love you guys so
Yeah.
much, because you guys are in it for the right reasons. Your heart are in places that inspire me to keep going. You know, times when I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore, and let me tell you, there have been years where I'm like, I think I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same here. Yes.
And
Yeah,
then I'm
me
like,
too.
what am I talking about? Like, I know I'm gonna go right to the next meeting, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna get back
For
on my horse and get to
sure.
work again. So thank
It
you
gets
guys.
a little bit. It does get a little bit addictive to be like part of something so cool, and so awesome. And I wanted to talk about something, but it's living moment. Oh, so kind of how you're saying that this is all volunteer, but I think I said it like 2 days ago. Azul was like, I think I was saying something like we want to kill like as many birds, like 5 birds with 1 stone. And Azul's like, that's a lot of birds. How you. And so I had to explain that whole concept or the phrase
So you're
that you
actually
said.
not killing a bird.
That you're not killing birds with 1 stone. So she was like, how do you kill so many birds?
Oh no.
So, but anyways,
And
but
why
if
are you killing birds, Daddy?
if in this conversation we just talked about how we involve the youth through the contest. You talked about how people are
Yeah, that's
just
my
like
favorite part.
giving their time. So you see that I have that what you're saying right now. I'm like, oh yeah, wow, that like. Because I've never talked to volunteers, so I don't know what they just show up and like
Yeah.
we're I think that that we are in a way killing a lot of birds with 1 stone, and that's kind of cool to not forget that we're spreading some good out in the world one
Yeah.
way or another. So
And learning.
Oh,
We're
so
learning all
much,
the
so
time.
much.
So much about
hey,
everything and
which I love.
everything. Yeah.
New
I
knowledge.
think before this,
Amazing.
I had volunteered with the Latino Festival, but just these little tiny pieces. So I didn't really have big event. I think you guys probably had the most event planning, organizing experience than all of us put together when you guys
Yeah.
came on. We've been learning as we go.
Yeah.
Still, this week we learned that we needed a different license for something that we didn't think we needed a license for. Like, oh, we do. Like, every year, so much learning. Yeah. Well, Amner, Laura, Guesane, Michaela, thank you so much for chatting
Thank
about this
you.
passion project that we have, and it's been a pleasure and an honor and so much fun working with you guys on the festival. And I know that Saturday, no matter what happens, we're gonna have a good time.
yeah.
It will be great.
It's
Yeah,
And there will
yeah.
be things that happen, but that's just part of
You
the
know.
event.
That's part of the-
Because it always
Yeah.
has.
So it will be
Yeah.
just fine.
Yeah, thank you,
Right?
Christina. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Thank
Yes.
you, everybody, and come.
Yes, come on
Yes,
out. Breton
please.
Plaza,
Yes.
July 20th, 4 to midnight, downtown
Yes.
Des Moines is gonna be hopping.
Yeah.